Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Hot Takes. We're on episode 7, LEC Awards, and I'm joined by Davide today. Davide, let's go with the first most important award. Who was the worst player in the split?
Ooh, bad take. Like, I might have a bad take, but I feel like
This one isn't official in the
uh,
actual awards
a
from
support mob
Riot.
rank.
It wasn't. It could have been worse, I think, but I think
Like,
I think that's a fair one, and also one that isn't too insulting to anybody as well.
yeah, poor
So,
guy. I
yeah.
think having to like step in that way, but yeah, like it's clear that now, like you realize how much image roles like are important in modern day league.
Mm. Yeah, and that was kind of
What
like the
about you? What do you think?
um. Uh, I would to be nice, I'd probably say the same one. If I was being real, maybe even like I don't know, like Larson or someone like it was like mega underwhelming. But I don't think that's that controversial. But yeah, that kind of encapsulated the well. If that's going to be the last we ever see of Rogue as Rogue, it kind of like yeah perfectly encapsulates what the last couple of years have been like. Really, just like a bit of a mess. But there we go. Um, but yeah, the actual awards we'll be going through are not quite as harsh as that. So it's actually like the official Riot sanctioned awards. Hotspawn will get a vote, so we basically get a vote combined as an outlet. So yeah, we're going to hopefully try to agree on our picks. Ethan's not here today, but we have got his picks as well. So we'll have the three of us, and yeah, let's crack on, shall we? So we've got my lovely Excel sheet here. And the votes are then as follows. So it's pretty simple. Basically, for each role, we do a first, second, and third, and then we do a first, second, and third for the MVP as well. I've got some space for some extras in case there's anyone we want to, give a bit of a shout out but didn't quite make the cut. And I guess we may as well just go in order. So Davide, if we start with top lane, who are you thinking?
So my top lane list, I think it's actually quite easy to like differentiate. I had Kana as my top pick, followed by BB, Broken Blade, and then I was actually quite in like unsure about Naknako and Merwin
Hmm.
because I feel like Mirwin does bring a lot of value to the team in the champion pool and stuff, but I feel like Naknako actually played much better, or like compared to like how Vitality did throughout the split. I think he actually pulled a much stronger performance, and
Hmm.
I it was like great to see like rookie or whatever like he's been playing for like a few months in the LEC actually step up.
Yeah.
So out of the two, I would probably say Naknako on an individual level over Merwin. Even though like Mirwin, if you look some of the stats, actually he had some really great stats, but I think that's just because how Koi plays around him a lot.
Hmm.
So I think would be Kana, Broken Blade, and Naknako. With
Okay.
probably Mirwin as a honorable mention.
Yeah. Straight away then, we could put Canna number one. So everyone's got Canna number one, all three of us. Where there's quite a
Yeah.
difference, neither me or Ethan had Broken Blade at all.
You didn't have Broken Blade at all?
No, so I think me and Ethan had the same here actually. Yeah, we both had Mirwin and then Naknako third.
Okay, fair.
And I was at miles away from maybe putting like Adam in third as well. But that's kind of more in like the context of the team he's in where he has to kind of try and be like super aggressive and try and just do anything, which maybe isn't like the best way to be playing top lane, like the right version of top lane or whatever. So he was definitely in there as an honourable mention. But yeah, the actual picks then, I went Merwin and Naknako, basically for the same reasons that you've said.
Mm-hmm.
Naknako, I feel like there's like a little bit of a asterisk for like that one Yasuo game that might have cost Vitality getting into playoffs. But then it's kind of harsh to mark too much down to one game. Like anyone could have a bad game, and it just so happened to be the one game difference that they needed. Whereas, like you
Mm-hmm.
say, he's been like really solid for a rookie outside of that. Um, but I was like, for me, like kind of seemed a clear number one, and then the rest were like just a bit of a pack of like, yeah, people that have played all right, but no one like kind of stood out massively for me. Yeah, Broken Blade certainly hadn't stood out as much either. I've got some explanations from Ethan as well. So Ethan said, Canada is first by a very large margin. He said the others are very tight. I think even Oscar could contest second or third, and top lane has never been in such a delicate spot in Europe, especially because BB is underperforming hard, he said. So that's a bit of a contrast. We should have probably thought about how we're going to resolve these kind of things, especially with Ethan not here to counter argue as well.
Yeah.
We you had Mirwin. Who did you say number three? Mirwin or Naknako in the end?
Yeah, I like, so I had Nanako and Mirwin both in third. I actually had Adam below them.
Hmm.
Just like briefly below them. I just thought that like
Agree.
Rogue really didn't like show up at all. And I feel like Adam has always been kind of like the play around me player.
Yeah.
So it's obviously bound to that he kind of like stands out, especially from the rest of the top lane players.
Yeah.
I think like with BB for me, it's like I feel like he got a little bit messed up by the drafts. Like he was forced to play stuff that I don't think actually really worked out. Like they were trying to like kind of reinvent stuff, um, and that's what caused the underperformance.
Hmm.
But I still think like on an individual level he was fine
Yeah.
most of the time.
That's fair enough. Um, the one thing I think there's like a bit of a shadow over the awards and like the season a bit or the split a bit in general with
Mm-hmm.
with I think the impact the road shows had, because like usually and it's not to say like G2 would have definitely been playing better if everything was in the studio. Obviously we would never know for sure, but like the fact that
Yeah.
three of G2's four losses were on these road shows, like it's clearly had an impact on results and what's happened. The one thing I would maybe argue, and this is maybe like presuming more than we know, but you like BB is like known to be the captain of G2, and he's the one that gives the speeches, and all of that. And then G2, when they've gone to these events, haven't really turned up. You'd think maybe the
Mm-hmm.
captain is the one that should be able to kind of well, it's his job more than anyone else, I suppose, to get them on the right track and like get them in the right headspace and whatnot. But again, it's hard to knock for that even as well, because no other top laners are really having to do the same role as far as we know. Plus, also other top laners didn't play in the road shows to ever have needed to do that role as well. So that's where I think these road shows kind of throw things up in the air a little bit, because then there's certain players that turned up as well, and it's just it changes things a bit. Um, I'll say then, trying to do the fairest way. Well, I think we all had Mirwin. I think Mirwin can go
Yeah.
number two. I think I'm spelling that right. I always forget how Mirwin is spelt. Um,
MRWYN, if
yeah, I've got it.
I'm correct.
Yes. Um, and actually, if I'm being fairest, Nako had more in there as well, Davide. Not.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's fine. Like the thing, I had Knock and Merwin together. It
Yeah.
was just that for me to like kind of understand what like criteria we're going for. I think, yeah, like BB for me, it's like I feel like he was just mainly a little bit compared to like especially how he played last year, or like in the last few splits. I feel like obviously everyone would say he kind of really underperformed. I just think that if you look at how he played the game, I feel like he's still like very solid.
Mm.
Like you're at least getting a somewhat
Yeah.
good top laner.
And that is another point as well. Like the expectation you have from like G2
Exactly.
it does shift things obviously as well. Um,
Yes.
I'd say maybe one other honourable mention that maybe I wouldn't put like near the top three, but would just be nice
Mm-hmm.
to shout out about. Is maybe Carlson, just as a rookie. I think he's been pretty decent as well. But yeah, I wouldn't have really thought of
Definitely.
him
I agree.
in
Especially
like the
like
top
in the
three.
especially in like the last few weeks. Like how I feel like he had a really good growing trend.
Hmm.
And I'm definitely like excited to see him in the next split. I feel like the team actually has been getting a lot better.
Yeah,
And it's also supported by the fact that they made it to playoffs, right?
yeah,
So
yeah. And I remember
definitely
watching
need
him in
to want to
like
see more.
I remember him joining the NLC like back when I was doing stuff
Hmm.
in the NLC when he was like 16. I'm pretty sure on Astralis when they had a team there. So yeah, it's cool seeing him do well. Um,
Yeah.
shall we go to jungle then? So
Yes. This
um,
is my,
yeah.
as a fellow jungler, this is
Oh
my
right,
thing.
right, okay. Do you want to start then? Go for it.
Yeah. So, I mean, I had kind of like a. I'll say my three names and then I'll go explain why. I had Yaikas first, Scuman second, and Eliolias third. Initially, actually, I had Scuman first because like I was looking at the stats and I felt like he had a really big gap compared to the others. But I also feel like G2 has been looking to play around him a lot more than how they did around Yike. So like my biggest thing I had for G2 this year is like they replace Yike with another really great player individually.
Hmm.
But instead of molding Yike into a player that fits the identity of the team, they're trying to play around Skewmon more. And I feel like Skewman has been doing that a lot better this split compared to the previous one. I just think that those stats were kind of like inflated by the fact that they were actually playing around him, and I think Yike has been able to like play a much all-rounded like play style. Like he can do both roles very well, which I think in the overall like picture makes him more consistent.
Hmm.
And then which is why I put him first. And then I think Eliolius just continues to be a very solid jungler, even though I think he doesn't have, how can I say it, like the same amount of early game pressure that was expecting from like Koi in general. I think he's still like very solid. I actually had Razork closely, but I wasn't fully convinced by Razork. There were like he has like compared to like Winter, he has had a lot more ups and downs,
Hmm.
and I feel like it was other Fnatic players that actually like stepped up a lot.
Yeah. Um, so a unanimous one then is Yike number one.
Yes,
Everyone's got Yike number
I'm glad
one.
that we're at least getting the first ones out of the way.
Yeah. Actually, sorry, no, I'm wrong. Ethan had Razok number one and Yike number two.
Oh,
But
ooh,
I feel like that's well, it's not unanimous, but one, and two. Clearly, he's going to go number one.
yeah,
Um, so if I'll just say mine and Ethan's quickly then. So I had
yeah,
Yike one, I had Razok two, and Skewmond three.
yeah.
Ethan had Razork, then Yike, then Skewmond. And what he's written to me is that junglers are also very close, but each has got a different role in their team, so it's a bit more complicated to compare them. It's more about personal taste. What kind of, like, I
Sure.
guess it means like what sort of junglers you like, what's playstyles.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe Yike should be first because he's the most versatile of those three, but I wanted to reward Razork for stepping up after his bad winter. Um, I agree that I think a lot of them are pretty close, and yeah, it can be hard to compare because like Razork does seem to be like way more proactive. Like he's probably used to having to do that on Fnatic the last couple of years, and then now that he's got like yeah someone like Mickey on his team, he maybe doesn't need to be going as mental, and that's maybe where some like the ups and downs come from. So I can
I
understand.
just feel like sorry to
That's
interrupt, but
fine.
just like I feel like Razork is super good early on, which is one of the things I really enjoy about him. It just feels like he always has like random off moments,
Hmm.
and you never know when he actually has them. Like even when it's like a super positive game state, he tends to like mess up a little bit more,
Hmm.
which is something that I how can I say? It's like I've always rated Razork very highly. I actually had Razork among the top junglers in the LEC last split, and I was kind of let down by how he ended up like underperforming throughout winter. So my expectation kind of dropped there, and I feel like yes, he has been like doing decent, like he's doing well actually, considering like how Fnatic has been performing. I just think that Eliolia brought more impact
Hmm.
to Koi than Razork did.
Yeah, that's Fair enough. What was your third Skewmont?
No, it was second Scuman and third
Oh, second.
Eliolia.
Okay. So we've all got Skewmont in the top three. So I think
Yeah,
that makes him second then,
second.
really. Um, and being as you're the resident jungler, I'll defer to you for this one. So we'll give the third to Elioya. And am I right? I think I saw you say about streaming the other day. Are you actually good at League of Legends?
Like I think I've been just playing the games for so long, so I
Listen,
just
so have
play a
I, and
lot.
so have I, and that doesn't mean anything. I'll tell you that.
I kind of wanted to like go semi-pro when I was like a few years ago. So
Mm,
actually, I played some like amateur-ish competitions, and I feel like that kind of experience actually led me into more and more studying about the game,
mhm,
and that's how I basically then I just started to like play a lot more solo queue. I haven't actually been grinding that much. I feel like in the past 1 year and a half, I feel like I just peaked. What was it? I think low master back in season 12, and then I just couldn't like continue like with the same amount of intensity because I feel like it's really tiring to
mhm.
like fit into like a working schedule, like
Yeah,
study schedule when you're like in uni.
understandable.
But I appreciate the shout out.
That's fine. Um, just for comparison, I I think I peaked in like platinum something. Before platinum was basically gold. When platinum was actually platinum, I was in
Yeah.
platinum. But then I barely played ranked for the last couple of years, and I did my first placement the other day. And I got like bronze 4.
I mean, it's
Just from
fine.
the
It's
first
normal.
match, but
They're going to reset it. It always happens with the like a lot of seasons without ranked play.
mhm,
I've been like playing around like Diamond 2 right now as a jungler. I just sometimes I feel like I'm not I feel like I'm not mechanically good enough. It's
mm,
like I have decent macro just by watching a lot of like competitive play.
yeah,
I just feel like I don't have the hands anymore.
it's a shame. Yeah, I'm in my late 20s, so it's about time my career winds down anyway. Makes sense. Um, right, let's keep going. Oh well, so let's do our honorable mentions then. So we also then
Yeah,
so Razork.
Razork for sure.
One I was thinking was 113 in here as well. I think he's been like a bit of a bright spot for BDS as well as Ice, which we'll come to later. Yeah, I
Yeah,
had 113 as an honorable one. Is there any others you've got as well?
I had Shio.
Yeah.
Like my thing for Shio is like I feel like he has always kind of been like the he has a decent floor, not a super high ceiling.
Hmm.
Especially when he was on BDS. I think he has maintained that. Obviously not to a top three, but just I feel like he did with decently actually. Then also Team Heretics like TH making it to playoffs is also I think he is one of the main reasons
Hmm.
why the team has been doing quite well
Yeah.
compared to the expectations that were set initially,
Yeah.
especially.
Yeah. That makes sense. Right, let's crack on with mid then. Um,
Hmm.
and like 9 times out of 10 over the years, you feel like mid is a lock. You just write Caps' name first and then think about the rest. Not really the case this time. I don't know if anyone's gonna have Caps in their top three. Me and Ethan both do not have him in our top three. Um,
I had him.
yeah,
I had him.
had
I actually still
past
have
tense.
him.
Okay,
I have like three choices for top like the third place.
right.
So we'll have to dive deeper into that, I guess.
He's an honourable mention for me, but
Yes, like for sure.
that's still crazy for Caps. But anyway, number one, me and Ethan have both got Vladdy. I feel
100% agree.
yeah, I was gonna say I feel like that one's like the most obvious one. I feel like
Yes.
if it wasn't for Caliste and like the French connection being on K Corp, like Vladdy would be getting like even way more plaudits than he already does, or he'd be like the main
Hmm.
star rookie for them. Um, who is your number two?
So
I
I
feel
had
like
like
this.
both.
Yeah, sorry. Before you go, I feel like
Yeah,
after Vladdy, it's like it's nothing is like particularly clear after that for me.
I think it's like there's a quite a big gap. I feel like I see top and mid very close in the sense like
Yeah.
Kan and Vladia like at least a tier above everyone else. I had So like honestly, it's like four players in two places. So I had Jojo, Huma, Caps, and Camilo. I'm not sure whether the Camilo one will take you by surprise.
He's on my
Um,
honorable mentions.
yeah. So like I think I put Jojo second,
Same.
even though like I feel like it's like Jojo and Huma, like second and third for me.
Yeah.
And
So
then like Caps and Camilo as honorable mentions.
yeah. So me and Ethan both also have Humanoid and Jojo to finish.
Hmm.
I've got Jojo second and Humanoid third. Ethan's got it the other way around. So we're like
Yeah.
almost totally in agreement. The only difference between the three of us is Ethan second and third. So
Yeah.
sorry Ethan for when you watch this, but we're overall in because we're the majority. So sorry.
Yes.
Um, yeah. Then we got Caps, Camelou. Yeah, because it's funny with Caps as well. It doesn't feel like, yeah, obviously it doesn't feel like he's been like at levels before. I was just like, as I was um sorting my list out, I was looking at some of the stats as well. And like Caps' laner stats are still like outrageous. Like
Yes.
gold difference at 15 minutes is like 400 plus, and then the next one is like nowhere near him. So like those kind of basics, he's fine. But yeah, it doesn't. And again, it's maybe partly because the expectations of Caps are like so skewed compared to everybody else as well. But there we
So
go.
like I had the two stats that actually stood out for me were like the lowest damage average per game among all mids. Like if you go and watch at the in the spring one, they actually he has like the lowest damage share and the lowest DPM.
Hmm.
But like Vladi, for example, has the second lowest, but he has like a top three DPM, which I think like in the current meta, like how I view mid lane should be played, I feel like having like a much higher like damage share should be important. And you can have the discussion where like, oh, he like G2 has been playing more around like Skewmon, but I still feel like that's still like kind of under the below the expectations that I would like to have from Caps.
Hmm.
He has always had like standout moments. I just feel like he's not as dominant as he probably was last year.
Yeah, makes total sense. I've just realised as well we did have an explanation from Ethan that I'm yet to
Hmm.
read. He says Caps has been more of a burden for G2 the other way around, while Jojo has been doing much better after a disgusting winter. So he is more worthy of a spot in all pro team in spring,
Yeah.
in my opinion. Even though Caps is certainly still a better player overall. Um, so yeah, like we said, kind of just expect more from Caps really, and that's
Yeah.
probably going against him slightly. Um, bot lane then. So I think bot number one versus number two is a very tight one. This is like
Yes.
out of
I think this is
anything.
going to.
Um, obviously it's Kalista an upset. I
Yes.
don't think that's a surprise. But bloody hell, yeah, making a choice of which one's which. And I think the way Ethan described it, he said I think similar with jungler, like sometimes some of it could be personal taste, like what sort of
Hmm.
play you like watching. Um, yeah, let's start with yours then, Davide. Which one you got number one?
I don't want to like make Casey fans mad, but I actually had upset first, followed by Kalista.
Mhm.
Before I actually like speak about my third choice, I kind of want to like explain what my reasoning is. So like I feel like KC has obviously been a really strong team. Kalista actually has had like incredible plays.
Mhm.
Like the Ezreal one, there are like so many times where he is actually willing to make the play and he actually pulls it off, which is very, very important. But I feel like Upset has had more impact on how Fnatic has played, or like how much value he brought to the team, and the fact that he was probably a little bit more consistent
Mhm.
with his gameplay.
Yeah.
I think that they have a very similar ceiling. I just feel like the floor for upsetting, based on what I've seen in the spring split so far, has been a little higher, which is why I've rated him first. And also, I think the fact that we already had like a, how can I say it? It's like I feel like the one reason Fnatic is second place is mainly due to the fact that they had such a strong bot lane, which means that you can also kind of guess who I might have like in support all pro by this statement. But I just feel like Upset has been like so consistent and so solid that will not really like put him second. I feel like you can't really put him second.
Yeah. So once again, we're gonna team up and bully Ethan, because I've also got upset first, and Ethan's the one with Kalist third. Funny that
Yeah.
we're what four rolls in. The Frenchman Ethan has got 3 out of 4 KC players. I wonder what's going on there. It's definitely not to do with the fact that they're top in the standings, but
Yeah.
so we'll let him off. But yeah, I've got upset as well. Kind of the same thing. Like just the reliability is insane. He's
Yeah.
averaged 1 death per game, and out of the 21 individual matches, he's got 11 matches with no deaths at all. He's just like
Yeah. Like
unbelievably dependent.
I was looking at the stats and was like,
Dependable, sorry.
KD. I just checked briefly. I don't usually check KDAs because I think it's like not that meaningful. But then you just like you go and look. It's like 13 and then 6, and you're like, what?
Yeah.
How is that possible?
I
But like
understand.
honestly,
Yeah, go on.
yeah, it's just like honestly, I feel like if even if like Upset had just a few more deaths, like it wouldn't mess up his KDA, but it would really be uh like impacting Fnatic as a whole. I think the fact that he doesn't die any fight, or like he rarely dies, actually means that the heals always have impact about on literally any play.
Yeah.
At all times.
And I think, yeah, I could easily see why someone would have Kalist first. Like, yeah, the fact that he's kind of a bit more playmaking himself as well, and does like more of the flashy stuff. Maybe like the ceiling is higher for Kalist, and I could totally understand that. I'll read you what Ethan said. So he said, Upset and Kalist are very tight. I don't know who should be first, to be honest. I put Kalist first because my personal taste, in brackets, not because he is French, but truly because he is playing more aggressive on his own, he's put in like quotes, than Upset. And also because I think Mickey X is a step above Targmas, especially in lane, so Kalist may have a harder time to get an advantage in an early game, but still has a huge impact and finds tons of gold and mid-game somehow. So I think individually speaking, Kalist might have a very tiny edge. So yeah, I think it's clear that they are like neck and neck, and absolutely either one of them could easily go first. We'll go with the majority. So we've got Upset first, Kalist 2. Who's your number 3?
This was a hard one, honestly, because I like for me it was honestly between Noah and Ice. I decided to put Ice just because I feel like he has been like the backbone for BDS a lot more. Even though like you could argue that like BDS actually didn't play that well. But I think he was one of the reasons why the team was still where it was.
Yeah.
It's like if there are like a couple of reasons why BDS didn't like fight closer to playoffs, I think he's not one of them. So that's why I
Yeah.
put him over Noah.
We're on the same wavelength today, Davide. We're proper synced up, you know.
Very good.
Yeah, I've got Ice third as well. Sort of similar reasoning, really. Yeah, he just in a struggling BDS team, he has been like really consistent. He's just generally done really well. If we're looking at like context of certain players as well, he's still a Korean import into a team with no other Koreans, where it could you could understand heads dropping and things when results aren't going their way, but he's there doing his job, and yeah, he's doing really well. I also don't think there's like a massively clear number 3. Maybe because number 1 and 2 have been so good, it kind of makes everything else look a bit of a blur. Ethan had Hans Sammer number 3. And yeah, as an honourable mention, I had Super as well. I think Super's been all right, but again, it's like nowhere near the top two. So I think that third one is a bit of a muddle. But once again, we've still got a majority anyway, so it don't
I
matter.
think it's like for me, Ice is if you look at just like even from the stats point, like he has like positive goal diff and XP diff. It's probably the second or third highest if I remember correctly. And the fact that he like BDS is clearly plays around him,
Hmm.
and he actually respects that game plan and he's able to like execute on it. And the fact that I really appreciate this when it's about like uh being value, like you can be a player who how can I put it? It's like you don't get as much attention, but you'll do whatever it makes to not become the liability or like as big of a liability. I feel like Noah is on the opposite, like Ice, sorry, is like on the opposite side where you're required to play in in a specific way because that's the only way BTS can win,
Hmm.
and he actually is able to consistently do it,
Yeah.
which is why I think BTS was able to take a few wins. Because
Hmm.
honestly, I feel like there are a couple of reasons on the other side of the map that haven't been the greatest, I would
Yeah.
say.
No, no, that's completely true, I think.
Yeah.
All right then, let's move on to support. I'll say straight off the bat, support is the one where I'm like probably the least confident in. Um,
Okay.
I'll maybe start with mine.
Yeah.
First, I've got Mickey X. I think that one is a bit more comfortable. After that, I was
Yes.
like, I was really not sure, to be honest. And we've all got Mickey X first as well, so that one's a nice unanimous
Perfect.
one.
Yeah.
I had number two Alvaro, number three Targamas, but again, I wasn't like massively confident. Um, Alvaro, and again, this is probably like the road shows probably changed things here a bit as well. So, um, yeah, Koi. I feel like when Koi are playing well, Koi doing well, it's usually like that. It is that duo of like El Yoya and Alvaro making things happen. I think he's has a big part to play in like any success they have really. Targamas kind of third by default of the fact that he's on the best team basically. But yeah, I don't know. I wasn't really confident in two or three or like choosing anyone else outside of that. I don't know. What do you reckon?
I'm actually surprised that we're aligned on this one as well. Incredible. Like I
Crazy.
had Mickey X Alvaro Targamas. I think it's actually the same reasons. The one thing about Alvaro for me, it's more about the fact that it's clear that Koi is playing a lot around him, or like he actually is the one that enables the rest of the team.
Hmm.
He's like, if you look at the stats, like highest KP like kill participation out of all supports, even though there are like technically a few others that are a little bit closer, but it's still the fact that this has been calculated over like 20 plus games. It's actually quite nuts, I think. And just generally how I feel like he is actually also one of the ones that dies the least. I think he has like a less than three average death,
Hmm.
which is not that common in supports. I think in the meta. And yeah, just I feel like he's being one of the reasons why Koi is actually one of the top three teams in the
Yeah.
league right now. Or like they finished in the top three, and then obviously Targamas for the same reason as you said. I feel like the one thing with Targamas is like he doesn't stand out as much because the other ones are standing out so much.
Yeah.
So it's that's kind of like it's a balancing thing. It's a balancing game, um, which is also why I put Mickey X first. I mean, he's obviously been very good, but I feel like Fnatic's bot lane has been so strong that they are the main reason why uh, they finished second.
Hmm.
Or like they have kind of like carried the whole thing to second place.
Yeah.
What I feel like on Karmine Corp, it's been more about the solo lanes, like a bit about Vladi, about Kenna, and actually kind of like gapping all top laners.
Yeah. And that may be like obviously this is something that always makes it difficult when you're comparing players, that they do have different
Hmm.
responsibilities. Like Targmas doesn't maybe need to be doing those things that Mickey and Alvaro are doing.
Yeah,
So,
true.
it's no knock on him, but um, yeah, someone's got to go first, haven't they? I'll read you
Yeah.
what Ethan said. He said Mickey X and Targmas are oh well, so yeah, he had Targmas second and Alvaro third, and he says Mickey and Targmas are ahead from a large margin over the other supports. Lebrov could contest third with Alvaro, but I feel like when he looked bad, he looked very bad, while Alvaro has been more consistent overall. Um, so interesting. He thought Targmas was clearly above Alvaro. Once again, unfortunately, we're in
Yeah.
the majority, so too bad. Um, but a
I
respectable
feel like
third.
for me it's a little bit closer. I felt like a little bit closer between Alvar and Targamas. Maybe not just because of the gap
Yeah,
he was mentioning.
yeah. Yeah, he's mentioned Lebrov as well, so we'll stick him in honorable mentions. And with Lebrov, like maybe part of what's difficult for him is that he's obviously any any performance he has is looked at in the lens of what would it be
Hmm.
like if Mickey was still here. So
Yeah.
it kind of that again sort of skews things, and also the fact that it's G2 and they've always been the best team. So if the team drops a bit once you join, then there's obviously questions being asked. Um, but I thought out of all the roles, support was like the one with probably the least names that I was like considering. Like honorable mentions wise, I mean I didn't have any. I had my top three and that was it. So yeah, was there anyone else that you thought deserved a shout out?
I think I've. It's kind of hard because like I had Jun,
Mhm.
but like for me, Jun is just like I'm trying to figure out why. Like if you look at some of the stats, it's like there's a big gap. I haven't watched honestly that many games about Giant X, so I'll probably have to check back a little bit later. I just felt like the fact that he has like over 200 XP diff in 15 minutes kind of make me say that he's been focusing more on the lane rather than like playing around his team, which is also explained why he has such a like a low first blood participation compared to Alvaro, for example, like even
Mhm.
Niski. Also, I think I don't know. It's probably actually I wouldn't put him. But just like honestly, just a shout out to Niski because I feel like making that transition to the support role is actually pretty hard.
Mhm.
And even though he had like a somewhat messy split, I would say, I think he kind of met my expectations I had on him.
Yeah.
Like I'm not sure what others people were expecting from the former mid laner, but I feel like he has done a decent job. I feel like he still has a lot to learn, and but like there is a good foundation. I think that he just kept his like kind of volatile playstyle, and then
Mhm.
Vitality is another team that it's just very volatile.
Yeah.
So it just adds up on that. But like there is some potential that can be exploited going
Mhm.
forward. I feel like
Yeah. Yeah. So honorable mention the last one then of Malrang, I suppose.
it's
Yeah.
for the effort.
um, right then, let's move on
MVP.
to the MVP. I was, I don't know, I kind of struggled. I think things might look a bit different here. Um, I'll be surprised if everyone's such the same wavelength. Just from looking at my picks versus Ethan's, there's quite a difference.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll start with we'll let Ethan start, so I'll read his out. I
Okay.
haven't got explanations for these, so we're gonna. These ones are a bit of a mystery.
Mm-hmm.
Number three, Calist. Number
Okay.
two, Mickey X.
Okay.
Number one, Canna. Thoughts? That
Ooh.
line up with yours at all?
So I had Kana. I had Kana on top. Uh, I had Kana first. I actually had Upset second, and I had Vladi third.
Mhm.
It was my top three. I feel like actually I could consider like Mickey X very close to Vladi in terms of impact. I just feel like the like how dominant Vladi has been for me. made him like get that extra step to put him third. I just feel like, yeah, I mean, we're basically. I just think of the most impactful players from the first place in each role, and I think Kana, Vlad, and Upset gap the rest. Not like gap the rest, but like had a strong impact compared to like Mickey X and Yike, who I put first in their respective roles.
Yeah. So what was that
So
order
yeah,
you had then?
that's
Kana, Vladdy, upset.
Kana, Upset, Vladdy,
All right.
Vladdy third.
Okay. Um, I'm just I'm writing them down, so I've got them in front of me
Mm-hmm.
in a,
Yeah.
all in one place, so I can see the differences. You and Ethan both had Kana. I didn't have
Yes.
Kana in my top three, but I mean I can understand it.
Oh.
I had upset Kalist Vladdy. So
Okay.
between us, we've like the three of us have mostly got the same. There's like 4 or 5 people that we've got between us. Mickey is like a bit of a one from left field from Ethan. But yeah, two out of 3 Kana first, so I think
Yeah.
he gets it. And then what do we have? So you've got
Upset and Vladdy.
upset and Vladdy. I've got upset number 1. Ethan doesn't have upset. We need to think of some
Upset.
way of like some ranking and point system. I think we probably should have planned this better beforehand. Because we've got upset number 1 and number 2. We've got Kalist
Yes.
number 2 and number 3. I feel like it's upset second.
Did Ethan have Vladdy?
He didn't have Vladdy or upset at all.
Okay.
We both had
Because you
Vladdy
had Vladdy
third.
as well, right?
Yeah, we both got him third. All of us have got. Oh no, you haven't got Kalist, have you? Bloody hell,
I don't have
this is
Kalist.
difficult. There's like four
Like
players that
Kalist
we've
would
got
have
2
been
of.
my 5th pick after Mickey X, actually.
Right. Yeah.
Uh, I think you could, based on because I put upset and you put upset. I feel like he has to go in there,
Yeah, I had him
probably
number.
as a
Yeah, you put
third.
number 1 and. Well, I had him
Yeah,
number
and I
1. You
put
had him
him
number
second.
2.
Yeah,
So I can
and
see
then I
them.
feel like the remaining questions between Kalist and Vladdy.
Yeah. So we've got a third and second vote for Kalist, and we got we got 2 third place votes for Vladdy. So I'm thinking it's Kalist, but it feels
Yeah,
really, if it's really difficult and really tight. Yeah, I mean Mickey is understandable as well.
yeah,
So even had him second. I think
yeah,
it's
but I didn't have
Kalist.
Mickey.
Yeah. I think it's Kalist off of like how many or where we've placed him respectively.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I mean yeah, harsh to Vladdy could have easily been him as well. So we'll stick him there. Well, not Valdi.
Vladdy,
Vladdy,
yeah.
Mickey X.
Mickey.
Was
Who
it? I
would be
think.
your last one?
Well, yeah, I had upset Kalist, Vladdy. Probably would have been. I think it would have been Mickey next for me. I don't know, Mickey or Kana.
Mickey.
Um, it is tight. I think. I don't think there was one that's miles ahead. I'd be interested to see like what the overall votes are from like because I
Mm-hmm.
think basically every outlet is going to be able to vote. It's going to be like pretty wide, and
Yeah.
obviously like the players and everything as usual. So I feel like MVP is not going to be as clear cut as maybe it is other times.
I feel like there's going to be definitely some bias there. Like if like maybe all the rules that you at least have like a close top 3, like you can have like similar names. I feel like the MVP is honestly very, very personal taste based.
Yeah,
It's like honestly, I feel like all the 5 names we've mentioned can easily make it into the MVP
100%.
discussion, depending on what you value more, like how impactful you think each player has been compared to another.
Well, maybe
Honestly, the only thing is like I wouldn't have another. Like aside from these 5, I wouldn't have anyone else. Like I
yeah,
don't know who would probably fit into into this discussion aside from these 5.
yeah. The only one
You
I think,
could debate Skumon, but like or Yike, but like I
yeah,
feel like
I was gonna say
not really.
Yike, but then it's not even. I don't know if it's even so much like in-game stuff. More just a sense of like how
Very consistent.
yeah, but also
Yeah.
since he joined Carmine Corp as like the one the player with all the titles and like kind of became like the bigger
Mm-hmm.
the not I don't know if he's like the captain kind of thing, but you know what I mean. Like he's like the one that's the veteran player
With a
basically.
leader role. Yeah.
Exactly, yeah. And then and now he's they're first place in the ranking. They won winter, so that's kind of more like intangibles side of things, not so much like in the game itself. But again, obviously that's also hard to know because you don't know what goes on behind the scenes and stuff. So it's a bit more
Mm-hmm.
speculation than anything. Probably not enough to write his name in there. I think we'll leave it with those. And yeah, that completes our votes. I think that's a decent outcome. Apologies again to Ethan because we've just we've not ignored, but we've overruled you a lot of times because you're in the minority. So that's how it goes. Is there any other big news you want to chat about quick before we round up? What's
Ooh, I
happened?
mean, like, uh, have you seen the WSD cursor thingy?
Oh yeah, that just came
Like,
out last night,
I'm
didn't it?
like, I've actually like seen the news. I still have to figure out like how would that. I'm trying to imagine how would that impact the game as a whole. As a
I
very hardcore QWER player
yeah
who has been always playing with like click to move, I feel like I will never get used to it, or like it will be for really hard for me because like all like for example, I'm imagining me having to play something like Hecarim. We are like running so fast, and you have to constantly like press the buttons or like press the like all the keys, and I feel like it would be such a mess for me.
yeah, and I kind of what I was thinking as well, just like immediately trying to like imagine myself using it. It feels like it
Yeah,
would be like really not. I don't know. It just feel unnatural, wouldn't it? Like as someone that's played for what I don't know, fucking hell, 12, 13 years, without it. I get the point of people saying like maybe like dodging skill shots and things and kiting
yeah,
could be really strong. Um, I mean, we'll see what happens because then it's a can of worms for sure. Like if it turns out that it is like the best way to play, then I saw I can't remember who said it. It might be like Azale or something. I think tweeted that
hmm
I think it was him. I'm not sure, but basically tweeted saying like that they wouldn't think it's going to be in all the game modes. It would maybe be only in like normal or something, and in ranked they wouldn't allow it. But I don't know if you're doing clearly this is kind of move you do to make it easier to play and get more people playing it. And then if
yeah.
more people are playing League, you can't really just like block them from playing ranked because they use these buttons that you've allowed them to use in the game. So I don't know. It is a huge can of worms. Have you
Look,
seen much of like where it came from? I know like skin spotlights. I'm guessing they look at because I saw they
yeah,
tweeted before
I
like they
saw
look
it
at like
from
the game
Skin.
files and stuff. Um,
I saw it from Skin Spotlight as well.
yeah, I'm just wondering where they
But
like is this in like PBE or something? I don't know where they get like these things from, but there you go.
I just think it's like it's going to be. It can be like honestly revolutionary.
Yeah.
It might be. I just want to see like how much of a difference because for me I still cannot like imagine how if I had to relearn how I would move
Mhm.
inside of League, like how fast is me pressing one button, like whatever, if I have to go right or like above, or like I have to go like like diagonally.
Mhm.
Would I be like pressing both of them?
It
Like what
also.
would be like kind of like the sensitivity and of the movement of it? Because I can see it working.
Mhm.
I just don't know how much of a difference and whether actually that would feel say, similar to me using a mouse
Yeah.
or like clicking to move rather than using the key buttons.
Mhm. I imagine it would just be annoying as well, wouldn't it? Like imagine when you've just base and then you you're walking to lane and you want to tab out and do something quickly. You can't just sit there holding
Yeah.
bloody D or whatever the whole time. Um,
Yeah, also that I think,
yeah, maybe there'll be
especially
like
as
a
a
way.
jungler because you're usually watching the map
Exactly,
constantly.
that's what I'm thinking.
So,
When you're like moving and trying to check elsewhere, maybe you could still like click somewhere on the map and have it walk there by itself and then like regain it or something. Because there was different. Um, oh, I think the
yeah,
call
my
dropped there.
internet died out
Okay.
briefly, I think.
Um, but yeah, there were different methods. It says so. Oh no, there's different methods for Flash, or I don't really understand it.
Mm-hmm.
Flash has 3 settings: cursor, WASD with cursor enhanced, WASD with cursor fallback. Obviously, we don't. These are just like basically names from game files so far, so we don't really
Yeah.
know what the difference is. But yeah, big news. We'll see what happens.
I think it's definitely going to be an interesting one.
For sure. Have I lost you again?
Oh,
Oh no, I don't know.
do you see me?
Discord made a noise, but I think it's fine. Should we wrap it then? Is there any other big news? I think that was like the key thing, really, wasn't it? All the leagues are sort of coming to a close soon. There'll probably be some more stuff.
I would be down to like talking maybe about LCK, LCP, LPL and LCK maybe
Yeah.
next time or whenever we have the chance, because I feel like there's a lot of discussion going on there.
Sure.
Because it's like we're like 1 month away, a little bit more than a month away from MSI.
And I'll
So
give.
there might be something.
Hold on,
Yeah.
I'm just checking something. We may be able to break some news here. So this is not league related, right? This is Valorant, and actually I'm not sure if the article will be up before this goes live. If this is live first, then this is a hot takes exclusive. But basically, what's happened in VCT, and I'll explain it because I don't think you follow Valorant, do you, Davide?
A little bit, not that much.
Basically, there's at the start of next month, there's Masters Toronto, like the next global event. But what's happened is that as the regions have finished their individual leagues, Americas and China finished 2 weeks ago. Sorry, I think your Discord's going funny again. Never mind.
Yeah, it's going really funny. I'm not
Americas
sure
and
what's
China
going.
finished 2 weeks ago. Pacific finished a week after that, and now EMEA is going to finish this weekend. So basically, what's happened is EMEA has got 1 to 2 weeks less prep time until the next global event. There's a new patch coming in, like the most broken agent is getting nerfed. There's a new map coming into the map pool. So basically, there's like loads to prep for this new patch for this global tournament. Yet the EMEA teams have got like way less time to prepare. I reached out to Riot for a comment on the schedule. That did come in during the episode, so I don't know if this is live anywhere yet. This is a comment from John Tilbury, the VCT EMEA product lead. He says, "We know that VCT EMEA Stage 1 finishing late in the other regions affects how teams are able to prepare for Masters Toronto. This isn't something we're happy about, and as best as possible, we want to avoid this in future. Scheduling is a complicated process that involves considering a number of different constraints. Ultimately, we have to try and pick the approach that delivers the best possible outcome when all factors are considered. This sometimes means we have to make trade-offs, some of which aren't ideal, but when we zoom out, we believe the bigger picture serves both players and fans best. After hearing feedback last year, we decided to host all 2025 playoff matches on weekends to elevate the experience and make sure fans can tune in. That decision meant Stage 1 had to finish later than we would have liked. The good news is it's a one-off, and we'll be able to strike a better balance in Stage 2, meaning we'll have weekend playoffs without compromising the lead into Champions Paris." Finished.
I feel like we had like a similar discussion with League at first then, because LEC and LPL finished very late. And so like they found themselves like having to fly over to South Korea like 5 days prior to Asset Day or like Media Day. So like there was very little like time to prepare.
Yeah.
Which is also why I think both teams like struggle coming into the tournament. So yeah, I think with the schedule thing, it's really hard to like find a common ground that makes everyone happy.
Yeah, and I think
Glad they are taking the feedback though.
Yeah, I think what makes it different with LEC as well, at least compared to Americas, is that I know that LA studio has like the back room closet set up when there's no fans, where they can run things simultaneously, so they can have VCT and League at the same time. I don't think LEC has that. So basically they can only do one at a time. So I think what they did is they coincided part of it with the road shows. So with the road show last weekend, that's when the playoffs started on the weekend here. So I think they basically delayed VCT a bit so they could run it like towards the end of LEC. So I get it, but yeah, it's obviously not ideal. So we've got an article going to go out soon but we were waiting for this comment essentially, where it is basically just showing that it is an anomaly, this much of a difference. So there have been times, at least in VCT, where some regions finished earlier than others. So for example, kickoff this year, China finished 2 weeks before like everybody else. But I think that was like so they didn't play through Chinese New Year. But what is more unique about this one is that it's only affecting one region. Like when you look at the difference of the final region to finish compared to the next final one, the biggest difference there's ever been is 1 day. Like one region has only ever been 1 day later than all the rest. And EMEA this time is a full week, so it is very much an anomaly. And yeah, good obviously to hear that they're going to try and make sure that doesn't happen again, because I don't think the players were too impressed. There we go.
Yeah.
Breaking news. So I think we're done then. Good job on the picks, Davide. Once again, sorry, Ethan. Did I close it? There we go. There's the picks again. Yeah, sorry, Ethan, that we've overruled you a few times, but there you go. So yeah, thanks for watching, everybody. I hope you don't disagree too much with our picks. If you do, let us know. Because even if you think that our picks are ridiculous, as long as you let us know, it boosts the algorithm, mate. So more than welcome to take the feedback. So yeah, let us know. Obviously, drop us a like and all that. Subscribe for the next episodes, and we'll catch you next time.